honored to welcome all our distinguished guests who have joined online, offline here, representing the different stakeholder groups. And for this noble cause, at very short notice, you have all been here. So it's really a very exciting moment for all of us here at Untitled University. Thank you so much for your support and the inspiration that you have given with your students. I welcome particularly the state government representative and the Panchamrit program coordinator, Shri Shwetal Shah. In fact, he is the main organizer and I am the host of it. So, welcome to this program. And I would like to mention a few things about why we selected this theme and how we landed here and what the agenda for this program is. This university, as you know, that RPA has a philosophy of value-focused education. And when we talk about value-focused education, it's about not only preaching something, but we try to see that how in practice we can translate some of the things. And that was the one reason that this university selected sustainable development goals as one of the practical example of how the values and behavior can impact the social, economic and environmental aspects of our life. And with that background, we signed MOU with the state government during pre-summit conference in Vibrant Gujarat Summit. On 5th of January, we signed MOU for a very special initiative, Educational Alliance for Sustainable Development, which RPA University is hosting. And that is not only limited to India, but about 7 institutions so far are participating from 5 countries in that initiative. And now it's growing. And recently we organized one program, Academic Leadership for Sustainable Development. And that had participation from more than 50 countries. And it was 12 days long program, and it was completely free of cost, complimentary, just for a cause of sustainable development. So, given that background, when this program was announced by state government, the government of Gujarat, a couple of weeks back, I was in Gandhinagar, and I must thank Shri S.J. Hadarji, the Secretary of Education. He mentioned that if RPI University is doing this much in sustainable development space, why not to be an active part of this program? And then I got connected to Shwetal Shah ji, and then we had some conversation. A couple of months back, we submitted one proposal for Indo-Swedish joint funding that was focusing on port sustainability. And it was in association with International Maritime University in Sweden. And we wanted to, through that result is still awaited, we want to develop a framework which is very much localized for Indian context and which Indian ports can use when it comes to measure and monitor their performance. So, given that background, we selected this issue, and I will not be taking time to explain why this is important, but briefly I would just like to mention that if we look at the role of port in the economic development, I was recently going through one book by a Japanese scholar, and he has advocated for that it is time now for looking into degrowth, not the growth. If we want to be climate friendly, then the way we are looking into the economic growth and industrial growth worldwide, the time is now for decarbonization, and when we say decarbonization, it is time to do that. What strategies we can adopt for degrowth. On the other side, when we look in terms of value, about 60 to 70% of international trade is the shipping is carrying the value of 60 to 70% in terms of value. And if we look at volume, it is 80% plus. So nearly 100,000 ships in a year carrying more than 20 billions of tons of loads. It is one of the major areas which can impact the sustainability and the growth practices. So now, looking into that, some say that we should change the energy source, some say that we should do this. So the focus here is what role ports should have in promoting economic, social, and environmental practices in a balanced way. Because the major dilemma in sustainable development is when we go for economic, the environment affects, when we go for environment, economic suffers, and then society at the third point, and then you will see that currently most of the reports and research which are in these areas, 70% plus only talking about when it comes to sustainability and climate change, people immediately look into environmental friendly practices. I always wonder that unless the economic and social considerations are balanced, it's very difficult to realize so it becomes like you are living in the theoretical world. And I remember one example I would like to cite. I was in East Africa and I was doing a project on a deforestation that people used to prepare charcoal, and because of that deforestation was happening. So when I met the tribal people and I asked that this is not good for environment and you should not do this, then they mentioned, what do I do? I sell it and this is my life. This is the way I live. If this is not there, what I will eat? First you give me that and then I will be ready to listen that what the environmental aspect and social aspects. So my point here is that when we are discussing and debating and setting the agenda, this is the agenda setting meeting, which we will take it further in terms of program development, in terms of setting the agenda. My request is to share your perspectives, your views on how we can be more climate friendly in terms of the triple bottom line, social, economic and environmental. By balancing, ports have nearby communities affecting lakhs of people surrounded by the port. So how we can balance this, how we can do this. Once again I welcome you all and thankful to you that you joined us at very short notice. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Going ahead, I would we are fortunate to have Sri Swetan Shah sir with us, who is the coordinator for this Panchayat for Climate Change Department. As sir said, sir is organizer and we are hosting this program. So I would request Swetan Shah sir for director of the remark.
Thank you very much. Respected within the latter sir, the Joint Secretary of Climate Change Department, Tripathi sir, Chavda sir, and all the dignitaries. So we are very thankful to Academic University for hosting today's very relevant discussion. As sir said, the Panchamrit program is with reference to our Honorable Prime Minister's announcement at the ESCO Summit that India wants to achieve renewable energy targets by 2030 and also net zero targets in the future. And for that, we require to align all sectors in the way so that we can ensure sustainable and inclusive growth of our people. At the same time, we also require to boost our economic development and our overall development of our country with ambition of net zero target and focusing more on energy transition. So when India is entering into the Amrit Kal of next 25 years, which are very important for all of us to do Atmanirbhar Bharat and other things. So in alignment to that, the state government of Gujarat has organized this Panchamrit program on various thematic areas. We have done one program on water management in Vadnagar, also on fighting Indian economy climate change perspective at IIT Gandhinagar. 2 days we were in Statue of Unity Kevadia site where all honorable ministers were also there. And today we are in Rajkot with two discussions, one on sustainable development goal at Marwadi University in presence of our honorable minister. So we shortly will require to go there and join the program. And today we are also focusing on port sector and climate change. So in state action plan of climate change of Gujarat, we have 9 thematic areas, and one area is particularly on sea level rise and coastal infrastructure. And Gujarat being the having the longest coastline in the country of 1600 kilometers, a huge focus is on our coastline because of the enormous renewable energy potential that we have on our coastline. We are already uh, installed around 9.5 gigawatts of wind energy on our coastline. And in future, we will also have offshore wind installation along with the coastline. Coastline also has the opportunity of tidal energy. And as we all know, we have major and minor ports, and our historical relevance to this entire port related thing dates back to even the local and Harappa time. And therefore, the prosperity of Gujarat has quite much relevance with the port sector, and therefore we require to give more focus to this area and what are future challenges. And our Honorable Joint Secretary Sri Kalati sir is here. So I will now request sir to also address us with this particular sector and what are the strategies, what are the areas that government of Gujarat is focusing with help of various line departments, because climate change is one of the newest department and we have already Gujarat Maritime Board, Industries Department, also the Environment and Forest Department. So we are working with all of them in tandem, and we also are looking at Government of India policies. We have this Sagarmala project of Government of India. We also have Sagar Kedu Sarvangi Vikas Yojana of the state government. So how we have aligned these things together with the sustainable development goals, so that we really can deliver to the community which is dependent on this entire coastal things, and also to the environmental concerns of our coastal regulation zone and related things. So I'll now request Kalati sir to deliberate.
Good afternoon, friends. Basically, here I think this subject title, climate friendly ports, we have to change. Basically, our concern is about the future threat what we are receiving at the port sector due to the climate change. That is what I think should be conveyed. What are the climate change factors that really affect and which endanger the development of the ports, delaying the operations of the ports, making the cost much more, and time lag is also increasing. For all that things, what should be done? What should be the way forward? And that I think we should discuss, and today take away should be
Sorodia sir.
હોસ્ટ કરે ને જી સર
સર અત્યારે ડિસ્કશન ચાલુ છે તો આપ મ્યુટ કરો
જી હા
અને વી વેલકમ યુ સર
જી થેન્ક યુ સર આઈ એમ હિયરિંગ સર
okay so then sir kindly mute yourself so that disturbance cannot be audible.
whether I am visible there.
Yes sir.
Okay thank you sir.
So kindly mute so that discussion can go with a single flow.
Actually I am in the car, so that's the other. It will probably be there.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, we all know, the ports are exposed to the various natural hazards due to their locations along the open coast or estuaries, or which makes them particularly vulnerable to the particularly, you can say, heat transfers, heat waves, rising sea levels. Again, here rising sea level is the two meaning. One is the mean sea level, which is actually rising since the last 50 years about 20 centimeters. And due to the ongoing very much higher economic activity and development, UNECTAD report says that, which is very alarming, up to the 2099, sea level will be rising up to the 200 centimeters. And if it is so, then your 70% ports will be unoperationalized. Threat is that we have seen in 2019 Corona, just 7 or 8 ports that are unoperational in China due to this corona, and 2 to 3 more ports are unoperationalized, entire supply chain, global supply chain is destroyed. Due to the interconnectivity of the other ports, the business is, as rightly said by Shivkumar Tripathi, the 80% to 90% value trade is going through the sea port. If any one port anywhere in the world, if it is the major, if it is unoperationalized, then entire supply chain is destroyed. As we know, Apple, they are procuring their parts from 50 countries. They are supplying their Apple, this is the one example, supplying to 192 countries. Now suppose the spare part from one port is disrupted, then entire iPhone will be interrupted. Similarly, we are knowing in Taiwan and other countries, due to the supply chain disruptions, there is a problem with the semiconductors and chips. Result is that in Canada, presently if you go, there is no car available, new car available up to the 1.5 year waiting is there. And for old car also, you are getting the same money for the 5-year-old car, which is for the new car. There is a line of all the areas are full with the cars, but they are not operationalized because semiconductor chip, very micro, it is not available. So this is the result. Your entire world is depend on each other, depends on the interconnected with each other. You are knowing the potash is coming from Canada to here. We are making pharmaceutical. We are making different things. We are supplying to the 192 countries. There are so many things coming from one country to another country, make some raw material, again it comes to the third country, they are making some again improvements and they are going to the other countries. So suppose you just imagine the situation, Rotterdam or Dubai or Hong Kong or Singapore, like 3 or 4 ports will be make some glitches in their operation. What will be the situation in entire world? So this is going to happen because, just I give you a figure. Last time in 2017, in Caribbean, hurricane season is there. It is a very small and minor islands, not a much more bigger economy. But world trade has impacted up to US 320 billion just because of the Caribbean hurricane season. So we have to understand the mean sea level. Again, somebody is saying that there is a, because of the mean sea level, if it is going up to the 50 centimeter, 70 centimeter, not a big deal. We are making the port jetty and everything is up, but it is not the result. It is not the result, or it is not the answer, because mean sea level is increasing at the steady level of the 30 centimeter, 40 centimeter, 50 centimeter in the 50 years. But extreme sea level, this is our concern, particularly for the climate friendly ports and for the particularly fighting with the climate change. Because in extreme sea level, in 100 years, once upon a time it comes, then they will wipe off the entire port. One example is the Kanda Port Trust. If anybody is from here, I am also there in 1998. Only one hurricane has come at the 200 km per hour. Entire Kanda Port is wiped off. 3,000 people are just wiped off. And we have a damage at the tune of which we have to recover up to the 7 to 8 years we have to pay. So it is only a one extreme event. In 7 years it is not happens, but one extreme event will disrupt your port operation for the 8 years, 10 years, 15 years. So these are the things we have to think. Here the problem is global. Because one person for extreme mean level or extreme sea level, you can't do anything. One country can't do anything, one port can't do anything, anybody can't do anything, single. Problem is global, so solution is also global. And it is a collective effort. So one country or one port can't do. We have to collectively fight. We have to. So this is basically a problem of the policy making. It is a problem of us, basically. So it is a problem of policy making, and we have to work closely with the United all organizations, UNCTAD, then maritime organizations. And here also, just like CARM, solution is somewhere else, problem you see somewhere else. So to fight that problem, you have to just, you have to just give the striker to some one cookery where we are going to the other. Here also, if we want to fight with the port damage or port infrastructure resilience, with the particularly global effect of the heat waves You can say rising sea levels, storm surges, waves, winds, riverine flooding, tectonic events. If you want all these things like tsunami, then problem is solution is somewhere else. We have to go for it from blue economy to green economy. If you go for a green economy, then you can survive with the blue economy. Number one. Number two, for this, I think you have to join the hands with all the policy making people. We have to chart specifically for this rules, regulations, policy initiatives. Not only in that, we have to go for a joint amalgamation of the treaties with the other countries, and then after we can go for a port development. Then after we can go for a estuary, river development and other things. But they are the small steps. Basically, we have to join the hands globally. We have to work hard towards that, and I think with that, another answer rightly Shivkumar Tripathi has said, decarbonization. Here the answer is there. For sea level rising, you can't make your jetty high, or you make just port development sound, or your wall and everything. It is one of the solutions. It is one of the solutions. Basically, you have to go for a carbon sequestration. Basically, you have to decarbonize. You have to reduce your carbon. Why? I tell you. Before 50 years, there are a pre-industrial level temperature is whatever. Presently, we have rise up to 1.3 degree. In 2030, we will reach up to 1.5 degree. Now, 1.5 degree temperature is a threshold level. It is a dangerous level. At that time also, we will get so many negative impacts on our body. But believe me, whatever, this is the UNEP gap emission report. UNEP gap emission report says, if we can't do anything, or if we are presently also, whatever our efforts are there, it is insufficient. If we go with this pace, then in 2099, your temperature will rise by 4 degrees. In 2050, your temperature will be rise by 3 degrees. For the lemon, for me also, sometimes I have, what is the difference in 3 degrees? Generally in summer, we are going from 20 to 40. So what is the difference in 3 degrees? But it is exactly the same as temperature. Our body temperature is 38. Once we just go from 38 to 39, we are saying 1 degree down. 3 degree, then person collapse. So here also 3 degrees is very much mean to us from the climate point of view. And I feel if we don't want to reach up to the 3 degree level, we have to fight now, act now, and for that, renewable energy is one of the answer. Fortunately, Mr. Narendra Modi, our Honorable Prime Minister, knows this very well in 2009. So, only entire in India, and in Asia. In Asia, I think we are first, and in India, we are third. And presently also in India, nowhere there is a dedicated climate change department. They have established in 2009. And we are working closely with all the 9 thematic areas, particularly with the climate change, and with all the 19 departments of government. Basically, we are the policy advocacy we are doing, not we are in the anywhere in the administrative work. But with the result and concentrated efforts, again, there is I can say, Gujarat is playing the pivotal role in entire nation. We have a run of Kutch. In run of Kutch, we have a 30,000 square kilometer area. Presently, just 640 square kilometer. Out of 30,000, just 640 square kilometer area. We are introducing 30,000 megawatt solar power plant. Hybrid solar power with the wind. I think from the Kandla people you know very well. And this will be dedicated to the nations, I think, in 2025. Presently, the world record is of the 2,400 megawatt plant from Rajasthan. So we are making quantum jump from 2,400 megawatt to 30,000 megawatt. And you very well aware that because of the conducive policy of the government of Gujarat, in Gujarat there is a green complex is coming in Jamnagar with the investment of the 60,000 crore. And we are switching from blue economy to green economy, increasing the green jobs, and we are also making the mappings of all the industries in Gujarat who are running on particularly fossil fuel. I can sure in 2035 we are at least, this is just a guess, but I am sure we can reach up to the 75% energy transition from fossil fuel to the green energy. Why? I can tell you. One thing is, we have a 30,000 square kilometer runoff patch, which is really ideal place for the solar radiance, and we can make a solar power generation there. And every company is eyeing for that. Presently there is no land because everybody wants that land. So they are coming in a big way. At least Prime Minister's target of 500 gigawatt energy, green energy, which we want to produce in 2030. Gujarat's share will be easily 100 gigawatt, and I can assure you, it is not 100 gigawatt, we will go up to the 160 to 180 gigawatt in 2030. So 1,60,000 megawatt will be coming. Again, there is a problem of the power evacuation. So there is a green corridor we are making with the help of Government of India. So that power will be evacuated from the run of Kutch to all the 9 states and in Gujarat. And with that, companies are also going to produce the electrolytes. So in 120 industries like solar plants, like cement plants, like steel plants, like refineries, who are really consuming the big power, there we will give them the green power in daytime, and in night time they will run through the hydrogen, and so entire hydrogen ecosystem, I think, will be coming first time in India, in Gujarat. We are also number 1 in CNG network in Gujarat in 2004, and we will become a number 1 in hydrogen economy and in hydrogen infrastructure, particularly in 2030 to 30. So with this help, I think we can switch over from blue economy to green economy, and this is the result. Ultimate, I think, our goal, if we want to save the ports, we have to produce a less carbon. And if we can't produce a less carbon, because there is a necessity of the demand, particularly for the industrialization, we can't stop everything overnight. Then we can switch over to the green energy. And finally, our ultimate goal is to reduce the carbon emission by 45% at least in 2030. Gujarat will, I am sure, we will reduce more than 55% carbon emission. And if we can reduce the carbon emission, then definitely there is a less heat trap in the environment, there is a less CH4, less carbon dioxide. Again, greenhouse effect will be reducing and ultimately we are going forward from 3 degree to 2 degree and 1.5 degree. And if we are reaching up to the 1.5 degree in a future course, then I think our port will be safe. This is, I think, by collective effort we can do. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for both Mr. Shah, sir, and Talati, sir, for the in-depth viewpoint with which we have organized this particular roundtable discussion, and all of us here also, and all of us who are online would be believing with the thought that you have shared, and we would be working in making all the blue economies to green economies. Moving ahead with this program, we, as Tripathi sir rightly said, we are thankful to Haider sir, who have given us the consent for giving the opening letters. But I think because of the busy schedule, he is not able to join us. So at this point of time, I would request our guest of honor, Shri Anup Udgal ji, to kindly share the thoughts on the theme. Anup Udgal.
Thank you so much. Is my voice all right, or who is that?
Absolutely fine, sir. Audible, sir.
Thank you, Professor Tripathi, for letting me join this conversation. I find very useful, very exciting. For those who probably do not know me, I think I should really help what I do and why I am here talking about climate-friendly port. I am a retired ambassador. I have been working by retirement on a lot of sustainability questions and more specifically of the blue economy. I am a member of City Task Force, and we have produced several documents of factors of blue economy, including the ports and shipping. I'm also a member of the Steering Committee on Blue Economy and the Economic Partnership, where we developed, in fact, the big of blue economy. So there are, in fact, and ports in the ports which we developed as FICI and the Steering Committee on Blue. I was also associated with very Indian approach to which is called other security and growth for all. In fact, it was proposed by Honorable Prime Minister in Mauritius when I was there. I heard the previous speaker. They had made some very in favor of sustainability, in favor of climate preservation. When a previous speaker mentioned the rise of sea water, in fact, when we talk about water, its impact would not be limited only to the rise of sea water. It will be much more widespread. It will be impacting literally the life on this. It will impact the biodiversity. It will impact the chemistry of the ocean. It will impact its capacity of gases like carbon dioxide, capacity to produce oxygen. It can also disturb the water cycle, which may cause havoc on the land. So when we talk about climate change, I think the impact will be much wider and much deeper. It would not be limited to only one aspect of life planet. I think there is something going on. Should I Yes. Professor Tripathi, in fact, whenever we spoke about sustainability, my argument was that we cannot expect the human society to stop growing, because we need resources for development, and those resources will only accrue if we grow. But the question is, if we keep growing or aspiring to grow without respecting the environment, then we may land up losing what we have built so far, rather than building further on what we have done. In fact, the other day in a conference decided that if I look at the world economy today, which is about 150 billion, and if we aspire to grow at, say, only about 3%, in less than 25 years, we would expect the global economy to double. Which means in next less than 25 years, we would expect to add another trillion to the global economy. Now, if you look at what we have done in creating $103 trillion so far, we have very extensively damaged the environment. We have damaged the land, water, and air. And we cannot continue like this. While we all should aspire to grow, but we need to grow with the environment and not against the environment. And therefore, this challenge of climate change, which in fact people are calling the existential threat to life on the planet. Now, I'm sure many of you would not have heard about certain phenomena, which is called El Nino and La Nina. As the previous speaker mentioned, we are aiming to cap the temperature rise to 1.5 degrees under the Paris Agreement. And in my view, I think that's very, very difficult to achieve. But if you look at the phenomena called El Nino and La Nina, in El Nino, a place in the Pacific Ocean, close to the Peruvian coast, the average temperature rises 0.5 degrees, and it is called El Nino. And can you imagine when El Nino takes place in Pacific coast, India has drought. And we are closing the La Nina, the opposite of El Nino, where again the temperature drops by 0.5 degrees on average, and we have floods in India. Not only in India, India and entire Southeast Asia. Now, I gave example to imagine if just 0.5 degree variation in a small zone in Pacific Ocean such massive issues for places like India so far out. What could happen if the temperature rises 1.5 degrees or beyond 1.5 degrees? This will be a disaster for our survival of the planet. Therefore, it is absolutely essential that we do everything possible for preventing this from happening. Now, coming to the ports, because today we are discussing climate-friendly port. Now, we dealt with ports in a very intense manner as part of the FICCI task force and the steering committee and the Prime Minister's Economic Advisory. In fact, I led a team to Gujarat for discussing the blue economy aspects of ports and checking what one of the aspects that come up for discussion. Now, when we look at the port, why are we talking about port? If you please permit me, I would say environment rather than only saying friendly. Now, you have rightly mentioned that ports are the life for global supply chains. Now, we saw what happened in COVID. There was disruption, not in all ports, but in some, and it brought the global economy to a halt. And global warming can disrupt most of the ports at the same time. And can you imagine what it can go? So, how are the ports related to global warming? I'm sure people say no, but still, I'd like to be told. In fact, there are three major parts in the ports ecosystem which have a direct impact of climate change and also with the environment at large. Now, if you look at those three segments, the port is one major segment. Then the shipping is another segment, and the land connectivity is a major component. And each of these three, if not managed, can cause mass damage to the environment and can cause or can add to the causes for climate change. Now, I will not go into it, and I will send you for those factors, but if you look at port can hurt the environment at the stage of construction and at the stage of operation. Now, if the ports are not efficient, then we know that the state in the harbor are much longer than necessary. And as more they stay in the harbor, their handling processes, longer the handling process, more the emission, and the damage to the environment. Therefore, I think the ports need to reinvent themselves and become efficient in their processing so that the polluting stages are minimum time. Now, I have seen I was dealing with transport as counter-economic to the European Union. You know, the ports were seamless. What do? Now, they work on big data. Every single container which is going to come to Indian port, the entire data contained and content is digitally shared with the receiving port. Now, this data is shared with both simultaneously, just in case they have any objection. If not, then they should approve. By the time the ship docks, you know which consignments are clear and which consignment is not clear. So why should you allow the port to be crowded only because somebody has taken this into time? I think we need to do this. Advanced sharing of data about all the consignments coming to Indian ports so that they could be cleared by all the agents well in advance. That will reduce the time, the turnaround time for, and shorter they stay at the ports, less will be the pollution. Now, just to give you an example, while the Japanese turn around the ship in 0.3 days, India on an average turns in all 3 days. Now, why can't we reduce it? Now, second part is the shipping cost. Now, the ships come to the harbor, they don't get a berth. And as a result, they keep waiting and keep all their engines on. So why should, even if they have to wait, why should they run on their own engine? I think they should immediately be connected to land-based power force, which is called, I think, what is called? It's called the greener. Like, as my previous speaker spoke, if we have renewable energy to provide power to the vehicles, we can really turn that green. Now, this is not only that they pollute only the air, they also pollute the water. They discharge a lot of sulfur and nitrogen oxides, which impact wildlife, impact diversity in the ocean. I think we need to really pay attention to these problems and come to the hinterland. Now, hinterland, I examined some European ports. Normally, a truck which takes the cargo doesn't have to wait even for 10 minutes. And in our case, the truck is together. Why should they wait for days to get? More they wait, more they forget. So I think we need to work on what we get. The port processing, the shipping area, and the hinterland connectivity, which means by creating a modal connectivity. And then, that's a divide totally agree with you. Nothing can be done unless the business and people are home. That is why, in fact, in our and the task force, we carried all this input with us. We were concerned with the business community, and we will constantly consult the people of that state or people of that city. Now, we cannot really expect those people to go. In fact, our court must keep in mind, if they do not serve those communities, then they are not really doing that. So they must serve the business, they must serve the environment, they must serve the people there. I think I can point on stuff, so I would stop here. And in case there is any question, I'd be very happy to answer that question. Because I can talk about the future of metal fuel and talk about a lot of other things. Processing of the port in the blockchain and the big data management. But I think today would have limited time. So I stop here, and today or even later, I would be very happy to answer those questions, and I will also share those reports just in case any of them represent. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for your wordings and towards the area. Now, I would request Sri Manish Bhai Chawda sir to share his view. We are starting now our distinguished speaker session, online and offline, after the speech of Anuj Mukherjee at the best of honor. We start with
I think if it's a round table format, then Ravikant ji, if you can moderate, and then we request all the distinguished speakers. Now agenda is set. So your opinion about 2-3 key takeaways points in terms of areas what we should be focusing on, particularly from preventive as well as the corrective section. So that's I think, and then we go for next round.
then at this point of time, I would like to welcome Sri Hitesh Chandraji, who has joined us online. Then Soratia ji, who has played key role in establishing our relationship with Deen Dayal Court. Soratia ji, Siddharth Gohil sir, Vaibhav Gupta sir, Viral Shah ji, and from Australia we have Norman Desi ji, who has also joined this online session. Thank you for joining, all of you. Thank you. And then when your turn comes,
Yes.
here you will be notified when your turn comes. Thank you all for joining. Now I would request Ravi sir to take over the session and go ahead with the discussion.
Ravi ji, please go ahead.
So thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Shiv Tripathi sir, who is Vice Chancellor of RP University, and thank you very much, Ashish Uthari sir. Now I would be glad to open the roundtable discussion for climate friendly food. Now, as you know that we have discussed and we have got that it's a really alarming situation for all of us. So we can put certain important key points over here in very precise and crispy way. so that we can come to some conclusion and we can have certain more exhaustive and intensive, actionable thing, so that we can prevent it and we can slow the even we can't prevent it, we can slow down the matter. So before that, I would request Manish Bhai Chawda to give few points on this. Thank you.
And also just a suggestion to moderator, if we can keep one online, one offline, one offline, that will keep the discussion lively. So that
Yeah, sure.
Good afternoon, everyone. As most of the points are covered in our discussion, the whole area of climate change and its implications on global as well as Indian system. So, I think almost all kind of discussions, research, and everything has been said and done. Now is the right time that, and if at this point of time we will not start acting on the results and with a definite strategy to minimize the impact of these global events, then we are definitely doing damage to our future generations. First, this is quite good for me and is a batsman, very difficult to continue and highly technical. But I definitely say that I like the concept and I like the thinking line of these today's discussions. I'll be always happy to be a part of this kind of talk.
just if I can add one point, because you mentioned about tax. Tax is one area which can play a very significant role in promoting the environmental friendly practices in port and shipping. How, I don't know, many countries have done this. They are giving tax incentives and benefits. So that's because you raised this point, so that's okay.
So thank you very much, sir. Again, tax is the only thing which bothers a lot to all of us. Now, I would request Norman Lindsay ji from Australia, since we have a huge gap of time difference between the two countries, India and Australia. So that's why I would request him to please give your say to this. Norman Lindsay, am I audible to you?
Yes, I can hear you now. Thank you.
Yes, sir. You are also very much audible. It's good to see you, sir.
It's good to hear. It has been a bit difficult because another speaker on. I think the university post still has this sound as well. So I'm getting two sound.
Yes, sir.
If we can just check. No, there's still a second speaker coming through. At me at a university host, I think we still have your speaker on.
Yes, sir. Sir, please.
Hello? Yeah, that's better, much better. Yeah, thank you. The topic is very, very interesting, and we've been discussing this a lot in Australia, both in terms of using more solar power, but also looking at the mechanics of which have been mentioned there with slow steaming, different types of fuels, making sure that there are areas in ports to make sure that the rubbish doesn't get left out in the sea, because the figures that 90% of the ocean rubbish is coming from shipping is a very high percentage. So there are lots and lots of things which I've heard already being talked about. and you have a huge task ahead of you. I know that Rotterdam Port offers incentives for ships to use low sulfur fuels. There's also been some very, very good studies from the USA that I will forward to you a little bit later in regards to looking at how to bring about a standardization. It's very hard when you look around ports around the world. There's no actual standard. There are lots of little standards in regards to some places with the fuels, but there's nothing that's like a perfect blueprint. Also in Australia, there have been a number of studies in regards to the uncertainty of climate change. I've heard people talk about climate change now, but it's really important that we make sure that in the whole planning there is and needs to be about the uncertainty of climate change. Again, there's another very good paper with a number of templates that can be sent to you in regards to studies that have been done in Australia with ports and their action from there. So it's really important that gathering the information is done in a very time-friendly way. It's a huge problem. Reading through your initial information on making sure that buildings have solar and or wind power. I don't know what the wind situation is in Gujarat. Melbourne Airport has just completed a very large solar installation, which now supplies all of the power to Melbourne International Airport. But of course it needs a lot of space, and the airport has that. A number of the commercial buildings in Melbourne, large commercial warehousing buildings, all now must have solar panels on their roof, and wind power is coming in a little bit as well. I only wanted to introduce a few things that we're doing, and the main thing that I wanted to talk about was carbon credits. It's very, very difficult for shipping people to change the ways they've been using fuel for over 100 years. It's very, very difficult to get people to think about how else do I throw my rubbish away? You know, can I throw my rubbish away? What am I going to do with my bilge water? And the environmental and scientific problems that can occur with the wrong disposal of bilge water. So we've been looking at carbon credits, and I've been doing a little bit of work with the Indigenous Carbon Credits Collective, which is looking at gaining investment from places like China, India, other places, also Indonesia to some extent. And looking then at working in conjunctions with native and other landholders to create carbon credits, which then provide funds to go back into these projects. Because at the outset, it appears that you have to spend a lot of money. And to a lot of people, it doesn't seem like there's long a good return, and especially ship owners. And therefore there needs to be the encouragement, and that's why in some European ports they are offering financial incentives to get people to change the fuel. So the carbon credits are something that I think we need to look at, and we can look at in conjunction with the Indigenous Collective. They control large areas of land, and they are looking for financial partners to come in and assist. Now, what I mean by financial partners is that the cost of per acre, I'll use acre because a lot of the money is coming from America. The cost per acre is $4 US per acre to manage and develop an area of land. The return is at the moment $20 US per acre after about a year. So it creates a cyclic fund over a period of 10 to 15 years, which can then A, offset the carbon immediately. That can be then offered to shipping. It can be offered to people, incentives for people to come into your port and set up establishments within the port, whilst you are doing all of the excellent things that you're talking about now. That often is the biggest problem, is how do you provide the extra funds to get people to do the things that you're going to decide upon. And what you're going to decide upon is going to impact people in their hip pocket. And a lot of people don't want to be affected in their hip pocket. So I'd like to talk to you more, not at this stage. I think you have more than enough to discuss at this particular stage. I've been collecting a few papers over a while that I can send, and then I can also discuss through my business partner who's sitting with you somewhere in there, I can't see him, Jayesh Pandya, that we can talk to you more about how the carbon credits provides almost immediate returns to be able to provide incentives for shipping and transport logistics operators, and whether it be people to come in and use big data to make sure that the turnaround of shipping is more efficient, that things are happening in a much more efficient way, or to, like Rotterdam Port, offering incentives for shipping to purchase low sulfur fuels from them. It's a very, very interesting topic, and it's not a glamorous topic, but it's certainly, it needs to be more glamorous. So more people need to know about this topic as well. So at this stage, that's probably enough from me. You've got so much to go through, so many good ideas, and I'm sure that through Jay, we can talk more about the possibility of creating a cyclic fund, which will then provide direct financial incentives for people to use Rajkot ports, Gujarat ports in a more positive manner. And the other area that interests me a great deal, I have had a look at the sailing, introducing sails, which are actually operating from Europe to the US at the moment in a smaller scale, and the use of sails and slow steaming, which reduces significantly the carbon emissions from shipping. What you're doing sounds great. I'd love to see a few pictures when things are going, and of course your finished document, I'd love to have a look at that as well. If there are any questions, please ask them through Jay, is probably easier. It's a bit difficult to hear what's going on. So thank you very much for your invitation to put forward a few ideas, and congratulations on your initiative and the many wonderful ideas that have been coming through this particular conference. Thank you very much. On India being Australia again.
Thank you very much, Norman. It was again nice, like you have focused on standardization needed in all the global ports. And Norman basically he holds the position of director. He is the director of Arthurton Academics International Private Limited in Australia. So thank you very much for spending your valuable time. Now we would like all the panel discussion members to make their presentation very crisp and in limited time, because we are running short of time. So now I would request Pravindan Dixit ji to throw some light on. And the question answer session we are going to take it later on after the completion of the discussion.
Very good evening. First of all, thank you very much for Vice Chancellor sir for inviting us for our solutions and recommendations for this roundtable discussions. We are from Naira Energy Limited, and just briefly, we are running a refinery, 20 million tons refinery, second largest refinery in Marina, and fully integrated with the marine operations and crude oil tankage area and captive power plant. It has more than 6,500 retail outlets with marketing installations. And also we are embarking into a petrochemical complex for nearly 50,000 tons of polypropylene. Friends, we are very conscious regarding environment, the way we are operating in this area. And with me, my captain, Alok, he is also available, he is the marine operations head. And a lot of initiatives we are taking from the design space itself, the way we are operating the environment friendly atmosphere. And very beginning of the design stage, we have kept all over whatever the cooling water we are discharging, which is going inside the sea at the depth of 30 meters, were designed by National Institute of Oceanography. And whatever water we are getting inside the equipment, nothing is discharged in the sea. So that's a major point of view that zero discharge fine, nothing has been discharged into the seawater. And also on the coming back to the plantation, for the 3 lakhs trees plantation we have done in the entire refinery, and we are also conscious on our seashore where we have 150 hectare of mango plantation we have done in the last couple of years. There are certain suggestions on this, how as we are also doing some of the sustainability studies, we are also calculating what is the greenhouse gas emissions from the refinery, marine operations and other installations. So what I feel that if you want to have any improvement in that area, in the codes, first of all we have to find out what are the greenhouse, the scope 1, scope 2 emissions in that area, number 1. Number 2, if we can use some renewable resources in that area, as now we have also taken a type there, 10 megawatt of solar panels we are installing in next 6 month time. So how we can go ahead with the alternative resources available so that we can reduce down the footprint, carbon footprint in that port area. This is the one suggestion from my side. And second, how we can resource utilization. If somebody is using water X quantity, how to reduce down further 10-20%, whatever he can do. Electricity consumption, water, and any treatment they are doing, there should not be any discharge like sewage water, it should be treated. So these are some very small suggestions from my side. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Praveen Dixit. He is Vice President and Head of NAIRA, and he has definitely shown a very good scope that they are going to install today, and 10 megawatt of solar plant very short dates, which is commendable. Again, in the renewable energy sources. Now, I would request Captain Alok Kumarji from NAIRA, who is also Vice President from Marine, to throw the light on the same topic. Thank you.
Good research. Thank you for being here. Industry leader. Sure. 7,570 kilometers of coastline. 12 major ports and 220 minor ports. All of ships handling 2.5 billion tons of cargo handling capacity of the country. Yes, it's a cause of concern for all of us how to improve this. So even a drop in the ocean would be fine if we suggest something. We have something like what Mr. Gandhi suggested was at the extreme effects level, the policy level. That what are the things that has to be done at the global level, and here we are talking about that's a top-down approach. Here we are talking about what is the approach, what can we do to contribute as a operator of the port or the preservator of the port. Few things, right? When we talk about greenfield projects, the marine projects, can we use a better technology not to harm the marine environment as such when we enter the parts? When we minimize the damage to the flora and fauna in the sensitive areas, can we do that? There are technologies available in the world, and we can use most of the technologies In the same time, whatever we are doing can be compensated by additional plantation all around. One is, somebody was talking about, I think the speaker from Australia was talking about carbon credits and they could differ a little bit about shipping through debris and those things politically. I think being a marine and maritime professional for the last 28 years associated with shipping and port, I know the shipping is one of the most regulated industry. So getting into that, everything is, every drop of oil is accounted for. So it is really difficult for someone to do a business like that. Usually it doesn't happen. Now can we think of getting the, like there are few shipping companies, voluntarily they are going for the conversion from fossil fuel to energy. Just to give some something not exactly green but something in between. Can we do that? Especially for Indian tonnage. Can our Indian regulators have some incentive, some capex tax holidays, something, so that shipping industry can get benefit. And then they will voluntarily come forward to do these kind of changes. Now, one more important thing is thousands of ships coming all over Indian ports. On a tanker, oil tanker is needs to be ready to move its own power at all the times within port, but it is not required or not mandatory for all other kind of ships. So there is a provision of supplying shore power. What happens is a ship which is actually working at port consumes about a couple of tons or about a ton of diesel or fuel oil to run the generators, to run the cranes. Can we do that with supplying a shore power? There is a method called cold ironing, which is being done, which is again on the stage of can we do that? So this is what I think that these methods, if the ports start implementing, where it is safety of course safety becomes paramount, whether it is safe to operate, of course that can be the thing which can be implemented. That is my observation. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Captain Alok Baji. You have rightly said that the shipping industry is very vital for economy, and I have some data with me that India's 95% of the trading volume is done through marine transport, and it stands for at least 70% by the value. So it's again promising if we do something here, again it is going to get roots to our Indian economy. Thank you very much, sir. Now I would request Captain Vanshiva Ladwa to share his views. Captain Vanshiva Ladwa. I think we have lost him, so I would request MV Soratia ji to share his views. Soratia ji.
Sir, I request you to kindly unmute yourself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
Yes, sir.
Absolutely fine.
I will control.
Haji sir.
Samraj sir.
Ajay. Okay. Thank you, sir, for hello.
Yes sir. You are absolutely
Haji.
audible, sir.
Please, sir. Chairman, sir, anything you want to say, sir?
No. Sir, kindly share your view on this topic.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I'm starting my views. I think you are available. I mean, my introduction has already been given to you, sir.
Yes sir.
Okay? I'm basically a practicing chartered accountant.
Yes sir, introduction has already been given, and we know that you are
Already given.
Ah.
Okay, sir. Now, starting with the point, sir. First of all, I am very well thankful to you
to the Atmiya University, who is a very media for the young generation to have a technical education, as well as with the blessing of Hari Prasad Swamiji, a spiritual which is most urgent required to be needed to the future generation of India. If India is to be developed, sir, only just by having a knowledge not sufficient. Along with the knowledge, technical knowledge from all the sides of India, we must have a spiritual knowledge also. Sir, then again I am very much thankful to our Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, and our Gujarat Chief Minister, Bhupendra Patel, for going deep in the matter. I am very much closely connected since 2005, along with our Prime Minister when he was the Chief Minister of Gujarat. And he was very keen interest for the development of the sea of Gujarat as well as the nation as a whole. He used to say as well in the Karwari meeting of BJP that Chhatrapati Shivaji was the last king who has taken the deep interest in development of ports of India, both major and minor. Now we talk to the major ports, sir. I have been a trustee of the Kanda Port Trust for the whole term, and along with that, I had experience of the Shipping Corporation of India, Mumbai, which is the biggest company of India. Sir, during this my experience, I being a practicing chartered accountant, 37 years in Kandla Port area, and along with my experience with the Kandla Port as a trustee, I have seen that Kandla is a major port of India, #1 port of India, but we should not satisfy ourselves by this saying this only. There are lot of opportunities for developing import, developing export, and for that we must have latest technology so far as the sea is concerned for loading and unloading. If we compare our performance along with the other major ports of India, we are lacking behind. We should do research on that. Our Sarkar is also ready, and along with the efforts, all together as a common goal, we must rise to the world, because we have got such a beautiful sea, and it was already earlier also. Now coming to the second point, our chairman has mentioned it rightly that there is a pollution in sea. When I was there as a chairman audit committee of Shipping Corporation of India, I raised this question before the Prime Minister, before the Shipping Minister also. Special attention must be given, sir, in the future, otherwise we will spoil the sea environment, which is most urgent necessity. There are other lot of factors also. We must go worldwide. India must go right. India must come forward. And we had in the previous days, when the Kanda is raised, the Indian economy, we used to say, Sole ki chidi ka desh. Now, at present, we have got a special, those we are sitting here, those we are sitting in the sea sector, those we are sitting all over the world, and so far India's state is concerned. We must make efforts, our knowledge should be surrendered there. We have to work hard for the development of the sea. I conclude, limitation of the time, conclude is my major points. Thank you hearing me, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. You have been very kind enough that you have addressed us from your car, since even though you are traveling, then also you have spared time for us, and you have given so much of insight that your experience says everything. Thank you very much, sir.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Bharat Mata ki jai.
So now I would request Shri Ashish Prasad ji for sharing his view on the same topic.
હવે આપણો લેક્ચર બાદ રામ જોગાડી માલ ત્યાં लेकिन भारत माता की जय जनरली हम हिंदू नहीं है इंडियाना मोस्ट एक्सपर्ट मारो हाँ दुर्ग इंडिया मनीष क्षेत्रना બહુ સારા ટેકનોલોજી
સર સર તમારો માઇક ને એ જે ચાલુ છે સર વોઇસ ચાલુ છે
અમે ગાડી ઊભી રાખી છે હવે ગાડી ચાલુ કરીએ છે ઓન ધ વે અને આપણે વી વિલ હિયર
સર તમારો માઇક્રોફોન ઓફ કરી દો અહીંયા આગળ તમે જે બોલો છો
ये बंद कर दो
Good afternoon, participants, present physically or virtually. Taking a cue from what the participants say, we have to strike a balance between sustainable development and this famous environmental scientist. When you say, if you really think that environment is less important than economy, try holding your breath while you are counting your money. And again repeat, try counting your money, holding your breath, cannot do it. So, green economy is always precious and more weight than the blue economy. Now, the role of customer, I will not the time constraint, I will submit a very briefly. But the customs is a stakeholder in the shipping operation and the port operations. On two counts. Firstly, the custom officer themselves are very vulnerable to the climate change and the health hazard at the ports. They are themselves. Again, they are having the responsibility for the entire nation, not just the whole globe. We believe in Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. In climate change, environmental, we cannot only three parts. India cannot say, I will do it, what others do, we are not concerned. Though we are responsible, but for making rules or regulations, we cannot dictate other countries to be For customs, we have a WCO, World Customs Organization. Mostly all the countries are involved. So they have taken a very proactive approach in this climate change and environmental protection. They are holding meetings and sensitizing the officers of everything. Because it's not only just what the sea rising level, wild animal smuggling, timber, unregulated fishing, these all are contributing to this environmental problem and climate change. It's going under the basis of the customs office. Because we are on the regulating side, but we are not implementing it. It is I'm just brief what the customs, Indian customs, is doing. Because we have called green customs. Many participants may not be knowing that it's green customs phrase. What Mr. Mudgal said is turn around period of the sea, turn around period. 3-4 days ago only, the customs department or customs one, all ships have to be voted and removed and sent back within 24 hours. They are taken. No, I am not a part of customs, but being a researcher and reader, I am just aware of the thing that they have implemented customs one. This is a new concept. I will just enumerate for the benefit of the participants only. There are many rules and regulations being implemented by the customs department. Hazardous and other waste management regulations 2016.
At this juncture, I would like to welcome you all for the roundtable discussion on climate-friendly ports, organized by Atmiya University, Rajkot, Gujarat, in association with the Deendayal Port Authority, Kanda. This program is organized under the Panchamrit for Climate Change, organized by Youth Outreach Climate Change Department of Government of Gujarat. That is organized between 17th to 30th of September 2022. So, as a tradition of our own Atmiya University, we'll start this program with a prayer to the Lotus Feet.
सूर्य है चंद्र गुरु है गुरु ही पूर्ण प्रकाश गुरु सूर्य है चंद्र गुरु है गुरु ही पूर्ण प्रकाश गुरु के चरणों में मिलता है तन मन को उल्लास गुरु सूर्य है चंद्र गुरु है गुरु ही पूर्ण प्रकाश गुरु फूल है गुरु है उपवन गुरु ही अगर सुआस गुरु फूल है गुरु है उपवन गुरु ही अगर सुआस गुरु के सत्संग में मिलता है तन मन को उल्लास गुरु सूर्य है चंद्र गुरु है गुरु ही पूर्ण प्रकाश
Thank you. And then we do have at Atmiya University, we have three different traditions we are following. The first one is we begin all the programs with a prayer. Then the lamp lighting. So for the lamp lighting of this program, I would like to request Honorable VC Sir, Dr. Shiv Kumar Tripathi. I would also request Vipin Talati Sir, Manish Chawda Sir, Ravanjay Dikshit Sir, and Fendal Shah Sir also to kindly come and start this program with lighting of the lamp. Discussion. I welcome Viren Shah Sir, who has joined online.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, this was our second tradition, and as a third tradition that we have started just from last month or so, we begin all the programs with chanting of 3 Omkaras altogether. So if everyone is fine with that, we'll take 3 Omkaras so that for the positive energy in the entire environment. So we'll 3 Omkaras. Thank you. Okay. So let's review this program a bit. Then Vice Chancellor sir would go ahead with that. But this program, climate friendly ports, roundtable discussion on climate friendly ports, is organized, as I just told, by RT University in association with Deendayal Port Authority Kandla, who is our strategic partner. We have done the memorandum of understanding with Deendayal Port Authority, and since we have found that the government of Gujarat, and specifically the climate change department of the government of Gujarat, is organizing 50 days program from 17th to 20th September 2022 as a climate change profile. So and we are organizing this program under the same, under the Panchamrit climate change program. And today we have with us some of the prominent guests who are contributing directly or indirectly to the sustainability, to the port sustainability, or maybe to the import-export sustainability. We have with us all of them. So at this point of time, I would request our Vice Chancellor sir to kindly welcome guests with our own stall. So I request team to coordinate. First, I will request sir.
I think instead of making it more formal, just I can move.
Yes. This would be better.
Yes.
Manish Kumar Javda. Then to
Krishna sir, please.
sir, only will give the whole and then who can over.
Okay.
Alex. Then we know
Shah sir.
Mr. Shah sir, the coordinator of then we have with us RC Prasad sir, Jayesh Patia sir, Advocate Sri Sinodia sir, Prabandhan Dixit sir, Talati sir, Prabandhan Dixit sir from Yara, Alok Kumar ji, And of course our own governor TG. Thank you, VC sir. Thank you, Lester sir. At this point of time, I would also welcome Ladwa sir, Anup Mudgal ji, Sagar Patil ji, and Viral Shah ji from who have joined online for this particular conference. We welcome sir. We welcome with our own with our
Thank you.
to all of you. Thank you for joining, sir. Thank you. So,
Thank you very much. Thank you.
thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
So now, going ahead, I would request our Vice Chancellor, sir, for giving the welcome address. Vice Chancellor, Dr. Shiv Kumar Tripathi.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ashish. A very good afternoon and namaskar to all of you. On behalf of Atmiya University, I feel